This video is sponsored by Squarespace. So if you need a website, a domain, or an online store, make your next move with Squarespace and use the discount code Andrew Marr. G'day guys, I've been driving for the last couple of hours down south from Perth, knocked off early from work. I've been having a look at this cloud that we've had in the sky. It's quite thin and in parts it's quite wispy. In other parts it's just quite even, but still quite high and quite thin. And that's just perfect conditions for some beautiful sunset colour and some light. I've come to a location that's just north of Sugarloaf Rock, just outside of Dunsborough, and I've still got that gorgeous thin wispy cloud in the sky. We're about half an hour, maybe 25 minutes from sunset. I'm about to just go over this last dune to get to a beach that I've been to before. I've been to this location before, but always when it's howling wind. And from the look at it, the wind didn't seem to be as bad, so I'm hoping that the conditions down there are quite nice. But for this evening, I'm going to be focusing on a good foreground, because if this really nice cloud catches the colour and the light of the sunset, and I have a really strong foreground, I'm going to have myself a really nice sunset seascape shot. So wish me luck, let's go. All right, I'm down on the beach. The wind isn't too bad, but there is a little bit of wind, so I've got the furry little mini dead cat on, so hopefully the audio is pretty good. The water is a lot further out from the beach than I remember, so I've got heaps and heaps of sand, lots and lots of rocks, and then the water is breaking way out there. So this is going to be a little bit more of a challenge than I thought. I thought the water would be closer to the sand, which just means I might need to go for a bit of an explore to see whether I can find a little rock pool or some crashing waves over some rocks. You know, something that'll just grab your attention. Nothing too complex, and something that's nice and simple. One or two rocks, a single pool of water, something like that. Anyway, I'll have a bit of a look around. I'll see what I can come up with. Alrighty, well, this is not perfect, but I think it's going to have to do because I'm running out of time. Let's get set up. If I get a wave like that, that'll be pretty good. Nice and big, spraying out in front of me. Unfortunately, the foreground here is not only not all that pretty, but very uneven. So this is going to be a real challenge. But I would say we're around about 5 minutes away from sunset. Might even come down here. Rightio. So I've gone back to the Z7 because I've got the 14 to 30 wide angle lens and I don't have a wide angle lens for the GFX 100S. So I'm pretty happy with my composition. I've got these two, they're not boulders. One looks like a rock boulder, the other one just looks like a massive cluster of rocks, which is around about 4 times the size as the quite large boulder. Alrighty, so here's the bay. I've got this rock down there, which is on the third, in from the left and up from the bottom. There's one quite large cluster there of rocks, and I've got a big boulder there. And so that gap there, which is where the sun set, is right on the third line on the coming in from the right hand side. Rightio. So the sun has effectively set. Not over the horizon, but over a thick band of cloud which is sitting right on the horizon. So we're still getting plenty of ambient light. There's some colour that's being reflected off the clouds. And I think my foreground is so dark, I'm going to have to go with a 0.9. Right, that is quite nice. All right, so I've gone really hard with the graduated filters. I'm trying to darken down a lot of the sky. There's a lot of light in the sky, particularly where the sun has set, but also where it's reflecting off the clouds. It's really, really bright. So I'm going for more of a surreal kind of feel for this, where I want as much light in here, in this little bay in front of me, as possible. Sorry, just another nice wave came through. So what I'm doing is I'm using the reflected light from the clouds, and also some of the clouds are diffusing some light into this little bay area, and I'm darkening the background out. So the little bay, I'm able to bring up the exposure and make that quite light in comparison to the water and the horizon, which is actually not all that interesting. But I've got some really nice colour, and just the way in which the rocks are placed. I've got a rock down here, kind of on the 1/3, in from the left and up from the bottom. I've got this gap where the sun was, bear with me. Just a couple of nice waves there. I've got the gap where the sun has set, and it's a gap out to the ocean. That's pretty much on the third in from the right hand side. So the balance here is quite nice. And I'm choosing a rock just over on my left here to focus in on. So my actual shot is a little bit wider because on the 14 to 30 I'm at 17mm. And if you check out some of my other settings, I'm on ISO 64 and aperture is 11, which gives me pretty much 1.6 of a second shutter speed. So now it's just a waiting game. I've got my composition. I'm set here on the rocks, nice and comfortable. I've got my settings dialed in. I'm quite happy with them. Filters are on. I've checked the front of the lens and I haven't got any droplets or drops of water that might ruin the image. And now it's just waiting for the right amount of water or the right wave to come bursting through that gap that you saw on the right hand side. They're coming through in cycles. They're just starting to build up now. Yeah, this one here might be quite good, so I might be just at the ready here. Not quite. Unfortunately, it seems to all gone quiet, so hopefully we'll get another wave before the light disappears and the colour vanishes from the clouds.
Before we get to the next image, I just want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. No matter what level you're at with your photography, a website is a fantastic tool to help you grow, both as a photographer as well as a business. And Squarespace has got to be the easiest platform for building amazing looking websites that I've come across, and I've been using them for years. The way that the templates are designed, they make your images stand out without you having to do anything. Just upload them, no need for any code. And you can start building an audience by just adding a blog. And in just a few clicks, you can be ready to be publishing posts about your own photography journey. Your website can also be extended with an online store that integrates easily with payment gateways. So the process of selling a product or even a service is made really easy. So head on over to squarespace.com for a free trial. That'll give you heaps of time to set up your website. And when you're ready to launch, make sure you go to squarespace.com/Andrew Marr to get 10% off your first purchase.
This is going to have to be a quick shot if I'm going to get it. Let's work this out. There's this little pool area which I passed on my way in. I was actually headed out thinking that's it for all the colour, but there's kind of like this secondary, not so much orange but more pink colour in the sky. So as I was headed back, I found the other side of this pond, which kind of joins the ocean and this rock that you see just in front of me here to the left hand side. So to get round it, I actually have to go towards the ocean and rock climb all the way around. But before I do that, of course, I'm taking this shot, and I've got these three rocks that are really nicely placed, starting off on the left hand third, and I've got them 1, 2, 3. That third one pretty much finishes smack dab in the center. And I've got this lovely color mixture of blue, the remaining blue, because we're well and truly into the blue hour now, a little bit of gray in the cloud, and then this striking pink that is on the sun side, the west side of that cloud, which is really nicely coming off. I'm tempted to just zoom in a little bit, not too much, and just bring this down just a fraction. So I'm just adjusting how much I'm zoomed in, just so I can get these rocks just a little bit closer, because there's some really nice patterns, particularly on this one in the foreground. So just check my focus, and 4 seconds. I mentioned before, I think that there was just a little bit of a breeze, and the breeze is still around. It's not strong, but it is creating just a little bit of a ripple on the surface. So I've got my shutter speed at 4 seconds. I can bump it up to 5 seconds and take a shot, and that 4 and 5 second shutter speed is just enough time to have that surface of the water nice and smooth. Well, that is it. The sun has disappeared, all the colour has gone from the cloud, and so it's time to finish shooting. I shoot quite late after sunset, well and truly into the blue hour and probably a little bit beyond, and I've done that quite a bit this year. As a result, a lot of my sign-offs are pretty much in pitch black, and I've got a little bit of feedback to say that the video is a little bit blurry because My vlogging camera, which is the Nikon Z7, finds it a little bit difficult to focus on my face when it is dark or getting dark. I notice that the ISO ramps up if I have it in auto ISO up to around about 256,000. So I've stopped it at ISO 2500. I've got a light here on my face, so hopefully it's not blurred. I hope you can forgive me for not getting the video exactly right when it's dark conditions like this, because I just love shooting well and truly into the night and just capturing or making the most of all of that beautiful light. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the images and the video. If you did, please give the video a like. I hope you get a chance to get out yourself for some landscape photography. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.